Hello everyone, this is Mother.imagination channel. I'm presenting to you the second part of the message that I just delivered, I think was 2 days ago. The message is whether good or evil, it is the same power. So this is the part 2 of that message. I choose to do the part 2 because I want to really explain, particularly what I meant by using this title, whether good or evil, it is the same power. Because in my first teaching with this title, I was really concentrating on something that is pretty different from the very title, but you could see the title message inside. But this time around, let me deeply explain to my viewers, because some people will be really thinking, how would I attribute the same power to good and then the same power to evil? What does that mean? Because in most of the teachings that are available, we tend to separate those two things to be operated by a different power. So we say there's a power that operates evil and there is a power that operates a good. So we make it two. So this has been the teaching that most people have received, and they have known this thing to be so. Sometimes we locally represent them as the power of the devil and then the power of God, or the power of Satan and the power of God. So we split it into two powers, and we even present a platform whereby we assume that these two powers are fighting each other. The power of God is fighting with the power of the devil. So, which is not true at all. There is no two power. Otherwise, we will be locked up in duality. And duality is a confusion where one stays and never understand or understood the thing behind the message. But as I've said in my first teaching, the message is a message of oneness, and oneness, actually shows one power, not two powers. I want to repeat that quickly. Oneness, shows one power. So there is one power in the universe, one power in the entire universe. Everywhere is just one power. And that is why we read in the scripture, the portion that tells us that there is one God, one baptism, one Spirit, one Father, who is in all, who is through all, and who is over all. So it's just that one power. There was never any suggestion in the Bible or in any book that will actually mean two powers. Otherwise, that book is not to be considered as truth. So let me use some certain examples for you. I think it could help to understand and to put away every structures that you have built, every structures of belief that have been built in our mind, on the subject of two powers. So probably if you really will listen to this carefully, it will crush down those foundations that are not really true, that is hindering the people from really moving forward. Now, we say here that whether it is a good operation or the effect of good, the expression of good, the manifestation of good, or an evil manifestation, it is the same power that is operating or behind these two manifestations. Okay, now let me start by referring to the scripture. Let me lay some foundation of the scripture. You see, we read in the scripture I think in the Deuteronomy, where God said, I set before you life and death, good and evil. Choose life, or rather, choose good. But he said, I set before you. I set before you. He used the word singular pronoun, I. I set before you. He didn't say we set before you. So I set this that is good, life before you, and the devil set death before you. He didn't say that. He said, I set before you life and death. Wow. So which means it is I, the creator, the universal element, energy, essence, that sets before everything life and death, good and evil. And then the universal voice said, and this is the gospel. If you are looking, if you are looking for what the gospel really is, it just said here. It said, choose life or choose good. This is just the gospel message that we are preaching today, and in the Christian or every organization that represents truth are preaching today. Say, choose what is life. Choose to operate life. Choose to operate what is good. And then it is also said in the scripture, that I kill, I make alive, I wound, and I heal. None can be delivered out of my hands. So these are the renderings that we have in the scripture. That I kill. It didn't say we kill. So which means I kill, or probably you say the devil kill, God make alive. That is the teaching that we're made to understand. So I will tell you the disadvantage of believing, in a wrong way. What disadvantages that it carries? There are so many, and that is why it is good to believe something the right way. The fact that certain things has been around for a long time doesn't make it true. The fact that you've been taught like this for a long time, to believe it like this for a long time, doesn't support or suggest, or make it truth at all. You have to come to a place, because the truth has always been there. It's not that the truth is starting to be, to be generated now. The truth has been there. It's just that lies has been, what most people have been teaching. Sometimes it's not that they purposely did it, but the knowledge was not enough, so they had a good heart. Most of them today still have good intentions to teach what they believe is true, but the knowledge is not there, it's not perfect, it's not complete. So they end up teaching what is a lie, believing that it is true. And that really handicaps the people, because it is the truth that sets a man free. The truth, not half truth, not a liar anyway. The truth is what sets a man free. So, but everybody want to be set free. Everybody want to be free to express yourself, free to express your nature, because your nature is life and is good. But if the truth is not there, the same you will express a nature that is death and evil. But is the same you? Is it the same power? All right. So he said, now I kill, I make alive, I wound, and I heal. None can be delivered out of my hands. You see, in this setting, you are set up in a way that you cannot, escape. You cannot say this is a neutral place. No, he said, none can be delivered out of my hand. This is the energy by which you are set up. You are created, by which you came. You are captured in this energy. So It is an energy that is ready. It's like the earth. When you say the earth now, that is the manner of this energy. So whatever you throw into the earth, it will grow that thing. The earth has no reason. It doesn't question and say, why did you throw this in here? This thing will not be good. Oh. No. It doesn't look at things with the eyes of good or bad. It just bring out what you put. Is it? So you cannot be delivered out of the hands of the earth, in a way that if you have put something bad in the earth and then you think that somehow you will have your way, you will be able to manipulate and then you will have a mango instead of the orange that you put on the earth. No, there is no way out. It can't be delivered out of the hands of the earth. You put there a mango, is a mango that will grow, not orange or not any other thing. So you are that bundle of energy, dynamic energy, is called creative energy, and the power for it to create is the essence of God that is in you. So that dynamic creative, power is just right there. No intention to question why did you bring this or why did you bring this. So whatever you bring into it is what it will produce for you. This is one thing that needs to be hammered again and again and again and again in our world, especially in the so-called third world where blindness is still operating over that place. The so-called developed world, they have gotten it in a way because that is why they believe so much in themselves, because the God that is yourself, that he puts in you, is what he wants to see operate. He wants to see you operate the thing, subdue the earth, multiply it, replenish the earth. He didn't say I will do it. He said you do it because he has come into existence as you. So they kind of got it here, and they are operating and doing the things themselves. But we over there in the third world, it is just, the difference is just knowledge. It's not that it's a different human being. It's the same human being. It's just knowledge that is needed. As long as we stay in ignorance, so there will always be difference between this man and this man. But in the actual case, there is no difference. We are just the same persons, with the same potential. It's knowledge that makes the difference. So, and we will come to that, what knowledge really means in this whole thing. Now, he goes further. I'm referring to scriptures now, just paraphrasing them. He say, life and death are in the power of the tongue. I think you have heard that, those who are Christians and you read the Bible, or you heard that message. So he's telling you that life and death is in the power of the tongue. But did he tell you the power of the tongue and then the power of another kind of thing? He said these two things are in the power of the tongue. So the tongue is responsible. The power that is in the tongue is responsible for life and death. So one power, life, one power, death. So you will know that at least what the reason for this title, and most of these things, you have heard it. It's just to meditate and to really go deeper. That is what the problem really is. That's why I was referring to, to time in my first message. I said people are too busy, mentally busy, emotionally busy with things that pertain, to physicality, the things that they pursue. They are so busy with money, house, influence, that and that, especially with the so-called social media now. So people can spend the whole day, trying to upload all kind of nonsense, just for monetization or what they call it, so they just there for money for this, and you are just busy looking for things to just throw into social media, not the things that actually encourage, not the things that elevate people, not the things that pertain to truth that would change our world, but just things that are of no significance. Some of them, we can't even talk about them, But what I'm saying is that when one is so busy, then you lack the qualitative time to be able to go into yourself, to know yourself in knowledge, because knowledge will make the difference. So now he said, life and death are in the power of the tongue. So which means the tongue that has knowledge operates life. The tongue that has ignorance operates death. That is what it means. So the key thing here is ignorance and knowledge, will be responsible, for how a man operates, that power, ignorance or knowledge. So let me quote paraphrase another passage in the scripture that says that he said by each, probably referring to the tongue, he said by each you are justified, and by it you are condemned. You see, so your words that you speak, that comes from your tongue, from your mouth, by these words you are justified. In other words, you are brought into life. By these words you are condemned. Condemned would mean death. So this is again, the use of good and bad, or life and death, but it's the same power, the power of your words, the words in your mouth. So you are saying that, the devil is pursuing me, the devil is killing you, the devil is against your family. Somebody is, no. It is you that is killing you. It is you that is against yourself, or wherever that you are, because the same brother who you are accusing to be against you is operating under the same law that I'm speaking to you now. His mind or her mind is not operating in knowledge. So he's doing everything horrible, and you will suffer this horror that he's operating from the position of ignorance. So at the end of it all, who is to blame? If you operate in ignorance, you will respond to the outcome of his ignorance. You will also respond with ignorance. So whatever he's doing to you that is offense, you also will go, to him with offensive move to also offend him. So at the end of it all, everyone is locked up, in this ignorance. So it is not any power operated from anywhere. Each and every one of us, we are operating this power ourselves, because no one. Most people are not fighting for knowledge, because in knowledge, I have knowledge, you have knowledge, and we are operating in it. How can we offend ourselves? How can we make our lives difficult, or make our environment, horrible? No. Because the knowledge that we are operating in, really gives us a wonderful environment and a wonderful, joyful self. Now, having referred to the scripture, let's use also our physical things, because everything that is physical here is to portray the truth. They have elements in them that you can watch out to be able to get a man's eyes to be open to truth. Fire, for instance, fire. Fire is good and fire is bad. We all agree that fire is good and fire can be bad. It can cook your food. It can burn your hands. It can be used to heat up and you get warm in winter areas. It can be used to generate machines, heavy machines. It can be used to turn iron or even gold into wonderful things, bronze, by actually firing them. You heat them well, and they can be, transformed into wonderful piece of objects. But the same fire can consume. If you fall into the fiery furnace that they have heated up to turn iron into, or gold into precious material, or turn it into precious form, if anyone happen to fall inside by a kind of mistakes, ignorance, not passing the right place, and all of a sudden, you are falling into that that heavily heated furnace, he will be burned out. But the same fire have caused that destruction. So what the same power of fire, it is not that it is the power of this and the power of this that is doing this. It is one power of fire. That is what I'm trying to refer to. So one power of fire is doing all of this havoc, and all of this good. So why is it so? Knowledge, ignorance. So if you walk with fire, with knowledge, everything that is good is what you get. But if you walk with fire with ignorance, which means lack of knowledge, everything that you get from there is going to be bad. But the same power. Again, electricity, we see electricity operating the same way. So, the physical is just proving what is in the spiritual. You must know that. So you don't say this is physical, but we are talking about spiritual. The physical things came out of the spiritual area. So they must operate in a way to prove the spiritual laws that you must get. So electricity, they are all proving spiritual laws. So electricity used in knowledge will give you everything that is good. Electricity used in ignorance will give you everything that is bad. The current can shock someone to death. If that one is ignorant of how to operate, with electrical areas, and then fumble into a naked wire, then you know what happened. And they are really concentrated current, that can really actually in one touch dry the person up and kill the person immediately. But that same electricity can lighten up a city and give you the possibility of enjoying so many things. The difference is just knowledge and ignorance. One power, knowledge and ignorance upon those power will determine what you get. Another one is the earth or the earth resources. We just spoke before on when you plant something on the earth, what you plant is what you get. The earth resources doesn't care. The earth resources, just as electricity or fire, they don't judge you. They don't tell you, why is it that you are coming with this kind of knowledge? Why is it that you are ignorant, with me? If you just come, you put your hand straight into the fire, he will not tell you, come, this is, why are you doing this? He will respond so that he can prove to you what the law is. If you put your hand and it doesn't burn you, you're not going to be saying, this law, I see, the law is not stable. Sometimes it behaves like this, sometimes it behaves like this. And then you start saying, you see, God, what he said is not true. He said, when you are unrighteous, when you are unfaithful, God remains faithful. So if you are unfaithful and you put your hand in fire, God's faithfulness remains. He has programmed it in the law that the fire burns. So put your hand, he will be faithful to that. I will burn your hand to prove his faithfulness. That is just it. So the same thing with earth. The earth is just like God. It's just there, has all the natural resources for you. So he doesn't question you. What are you using me to do? So whatever you go and use it to do, it will answer for you. You use it to go and do rocket and all those machine guns and all those atomic bomb. You get the resources from Earth. It will respond to you. Then so you use it. That means you are using that power for bad or for evil. But the same Earth resources are the same thing that have done so much beautiful things in our world today, beautifies our cities and give us, things that we can use to make life more pleasurable. It's the same, earth resources. So it's just there. Take it. Which knowledge are you using? Knowledge or are you using ignorance? The production of ammunition are just ignorance gone rampage. You're using ignorance. How could you use God's resources, to form it into something that will kill your own brother, and your brother forming it also to kill you? These are all ignorance operation. And today we cherish and we applaud military display and all of those things, and we judge countries by their military power. Do you know what that means? Those are just getting something to destroy another people. So these are just multiplicity of ignorance. God never told us to go do such rubbish. Now, the key here is we found out from what I've just said that the key here is knowledge and ignorance. These are the things that determine what power that can be operational for you. The knowledge of yourself is what I term here the key. So if you look at my first message on this same subject, I was actually pointing out the knowledge of yourself. That is what I was pointing out, not to explain why good and evil are of the same power, which I'm doing right now. But in the first message, it was the knowledge of yourself as the key thing that I was actually emphasizing. You may have the knowledge of your environment, which is the earth. People are so trained, they have gone to school, they have big knowledge, on environment and all of the things that we have on our beneath our earth, our resources. There are people that have the knowledge of other people. You have the knowledge of other people. People have studied that, the psychology of others. They have understood that these people from the northern part are like this. The people from the North Pole, the people from the Arab nation, the Indians, the Africans, they start to study people. All this kind of study that we do. We study to know the nature, the culture, and the tradition of others, even their history. We go far back their history to start to know the kind of people there, all those stuff. You may know all of those things, and write big books on them. Some people, you have the knowledge of other things. All the knowledge that we are all fighting and running after in our world today. No matter how all those knowledge that you have, if you do not have the knowledge of yourself, I am boldly, confidently telling you that all of those other knowledge are never and will never be complete and will never be perfect until you first have the knowledge of yourself. And why is this so? Look at it now. Without the knowledge of yourself, is that not why you use powers ignorantly? The power of fire ignorantly, because you don't know yourself. The power of electricity ignorantly. The power of the earth resources ignorantly. You produce gun, produce this, produce that, produce weapon, to destroy yourselves. So these are all these are all produced, because one has no full knowledge of himself. And if you want to know of the knowledge about self, you have to go to the first video that I make on this subject also. Whether good or evil, it is the same power. So you go and listen to that one. I will not have time to go to that now. So you see what I meant by the knowledge of yourself. How you must know yourself to be one with God and to be one with all creation, be one with everyone. You are first one with God, because it is God that is right here in your legs, in your hands, in your brain, walking and moving as you. So you must know yourself to be Him, so that you can appropriate everything that He is. He is light. And that is why He said, I set before you life and death. But He said, choose life, because life is the knowledge side of operation. That is why He says choose life. And He knows that for you to choose life, you must choose knowledge. That is what that thing means, choose life. Choose life means choose knowledge. You cannot just sit down and say, okay, I choose life. How? What? So what is the knowledge by which you choose life? You have to choose knowledge, the knowledge of who you are. So the scripture said in Philippians 2, though you are a man, you are God. It's a man's appearance in the likeness of man, but he is God. So the knowledge of that thing, the scripture calls it in that book of Philippians 2, he calls it mind. So he said, let this mind be in you. The mind that is called Christ, which unite man with God. That knowledge is so ideal that it helps you to understand others well. Because the knowledge of going to the history of other people and studying your environment, I say, is not enough. You must know yourself to be your essence, your maker, and you are one. so that you can open that same eye and see other people as you. That is what you need to know about other people, not the history of how those tribe came up, what they were using to cook, how they were killing animal, the kind of arrows, how they started with arrows to kill animal, how they were feeding themselves, the kind of clothes they were wearing. We have books of all of those different people, their history, their culture. These things are not complete. You would do that one and then you make weapon to destroy them afterwards. But if you know yourself in your true light, and then you use that light to look at people and see them having the same maker in them, the same soul, the same father that is in you in them, then you will see that you are one with them. That is the knowledge of self first. You will see that you are one with nature. So when you tap on nature and go into the natural resources and take it, it's like you are taking, essence. You are taking that part that is God, and God is love. You are taking that part of yourself that is love. So you take from the earth natural resources. In that knowledge of love, you will only use it to produce the thing that pertains to love, not to destroy. You see, this is why the knowledge of self is really very important. So you see people today that have big names, president of countries, worshipping of name, commander of this, the president of this nation, because we have elevated all of this nonsense. And then but we see their oppression, just killing people, making wars there because of political interests and all of those maneuverings in the world. You're killing people here and killing people, destroying people here, and we are all almost taking it as normal already. The world is just moving with it as normal. Nobody is saying anything. People are just being destroyed and killed like rats because they have no importance. They have no position, no influence. They don't have. They are unknown. So they can be destroyed for some political interest. These are just no knowledge of self, no knowledge of self in the light of your maker, in the light of your life, in the light of God. So I think I've done some precious, wonderful explanation here. Leave your comment in the comment section, like, and then if you have any questions, just put it there, and then we'll see what we can do to explain it further. It is important that you really fight for knowledge, that you really take a pause, and see how much you can know about the truth of life, and you are that truth of life. Thank you, and remain blessed. Bye.